We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lupkin, and here's what's happening. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has agreed to resign as leader of the Conservative Party, but wants to stay on as Prime Minister until fall. British media widely reported this. It wasn't immediately clear if members of his party will let him stay that long. Johnson had resisted calls to step down over his handling of the party's latest sex and bullying scandal, saying during a grilling in Parliament that a leader who has been handed a colossal mandate must keep going. But a wave of resignations paralyzed his government, and cabinet members told him he had to go to restore public trust. Johnson's decision came after a dizzying 48 hours that started when two high-ranking cabinet members resigned Tuesday evening. Federal Reserve officials agreed at their June policy meeting that they would have to increase the speed and size of their interest rate hikes to cool the economy and curb high inflation, according to the minutes of the meeting that were released Wednesday. Participants concurred that the economic outlook warranted moving to a restrictive stance of policy, the minutes said. A restrictive stance refers to rates high enough to slow economic growth. Fed officials made a rare 75 basis point increase to their benchmark short-term interest rate, the biggest hike since 1994. Since the meeting, some of the central bank's leaders have suggested they would support another such hike at their July meeting. The aggressive Fed position has stoked concerns of a possible recession. The Food and Drug Administration has decided to let Juul Labs continue selling its vaping products pending an agency review of its ruling banning domestic sale of the company's e-cigarettes, according to the New York Times. The FDA said scientific issues justified the review. An appellate court had already given Juul a temporary reprieve. The FDA's original order came after it said Juul's application to stay on the market lacked evidence of any public health benefit. Juul has been struggling to stay on the market, scrapping flavored vaping products after being accused of fueling the teenage vaping crisis. Joe Murillo, Juul's chief regulatory officer, expressed confidence that the FDA would find its products appropriate for the protection of the public health. The Wall Street Journal published a report this week highlighting the economic gains red states have made in the post-pandemic economy. The piece, written by Josh Mitchell, listed Florida, Texas, and North Carolina as the three states that benefited most from people's migration away from New York and California toward the south and middle of the country. The pandemic has changed the geography of the American economy, Mitchell wrote. By many measures, red states, those that lean Republican, have recovered faster economically than Democratic-leaning blue ones, with workers and employers moving from the coasts to the middle of the country and Florida, he continued. The Biden administration unveiled details this week of the final rules surrounding the federal bailout of hundreds of union pension plans, passed as part of the Democrats' $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act coronavirus relief package last year, saying it will secure workers' benefits for decades to come. ARPA's Special Financial Assistance Program injects $90 billion of taxpayer funds into the federal government's Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, which insures private sector pensions. Prior to the passage of the purported COVID package, the PBGC was set to become insolvent in 2026. The White House claims the plan will prevent 2 to 3 million workers from having their pension payments cut in retirement by saving upwards of 200 private sector union plans that had been in danger of insolvency. Experts are skeptical of the plan. In response to the announcement, University of Pennsylvania Wharton School of Business professor Dr. Olivia Mitchell, executive director of the school's Pension Research Council, tweeted, "Spare me." She called the move risky and said it's unlikely to keep the multi-employer plans solvent through 2051, despite White House optimism. That's the raw naked truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. See you next time.